briefing for Wednesday, the 7th of February. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Google has fixed flaws in Android. So there is a critical remote code execution flaw of concern at the moment, which has been fixed in the February 24 security patches from Google. There are also in total 46 vulnerabilities that have been fixed. This particular vulnerability is tracked as CVE 2024-0031. And it is in Android open source project versions 11, 12, 12L, 13, and 14. So if you are running Android, have a look, check. If you are vulnerable, apply the patches straight away. If you're using other flavors of Android, check that your provider has released patches, and if they have, make sure those get applied. CISA, which is the US Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, bit of a mouthful, released two industrial control system advisories. HID global encoders and HID global reader configuration cards. So this organization makes hardware which is used for things like smart cards. When you have your pass to get into a building and you tap it against a reader, it's that sort of stuff. So there are a couple of vulnerabilities that have been raised by CISA about these. They're commonly in use, so if you happen to have these devices or devices by this particular manufacturer in your organization, it is worth having a look at these. The advisory was issued yesterday. CISA is on the conservative side when it comes to releasing the timings of releasing the advisories. So by the time they are out from CISA, you can be certain that they are real and you do need to do something with them. Recommendation from the CISA website is to check with the manufacturer for patches, upgrades, mitigations, so on and so forth. Then a quick update on the latest of the Ivanti 0 days. The one that has been out for about a week. It is under active attack at the moment. As the article in Info Security Magazine puts it, it is undergoing mass exploitation in the wild. The article is quoting some research that the Shadow Server Foundation has done. They have discovered at least 170 discrete IP addresses involved in attempting attacks to leverage this particular vulnerability. The vulnerability is CVE 2024-21893. And some of that actually predates the Rapid7 proof of concept, which was actually released on February the 2nd. So if you are using the Ivanti software that is affected by these particular vulnerabilities, be aware there are some quite sophisticated groups that are looking to exploit these vulnerabilities, including the Chinese threat actor, which is being tracked as UTA 0178 or UNC 5221. I don't know where they come up with these things. I really don't. So yeah, keep an eye out for malicious activity. Definitely recommend putting in place mitigating actions as recommended by Avanti, applying patches as available, and so on and so forth. It is not going to be long before, in fact, it may already be the case that if you haven't addressed this particular issue, it is worth treating the devices as compromised and looking wider around your organization to see whether the foothold has been used in order to expand across your organization. And then finally from me today, this one, it's serious, but it's also seriously funny. 3 million smart toothbrushes were used in a DDoS attack. ZDNet article that will link to this goes into some details, but in Sweden, apparently 3 million smart toothbrushes were hijacked in order to launch a distributed denial of service attack. So the attack was focused in Switzerland, so has had a huge impact outside. But the concepts are, the concepts could be applicable in all sorts of, under all sorts of other scenarios. We're kind of, we laugh already about stuff like, your fridge is attacking you and these sorts of things. But actually, the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of stuff that is smart, as in internet accessible or internet enabled. Got to ask the question why. So in this case, what would be the reason for having your toothbrush on the internet? Some things it does make sense to have on the internet. You might want to have your home security system, obviously. You may want to be able to do things like turn the heating on before you get home. Okay, that can make, that's a certain amount of sense. What advantage is there in having your toothbrush on the internet? So when you're buying devices, smart devices, just think about, is it sensible to have a smart device? So the obvious mitigations to attacks of devices is put antivirus on them, antivirus software, malware protection software on them, endpoint protection. You just can't for most of these Internet of Things devices. So the best you can do is ensure that you're regularly applying patches from the manufacturer to these devices. If you can't do that, then it is concerning, because as we know, vulnerabilities crop up all the time, and there is a question in my mind around how long will manufacturers of a fridge maintain the software on the fridge, or the manufacturer of your toothbrush. These organizations are not tech organizations. How well are they testing the security of the products that they're putting out there? And how long will they support them? How quickly can they get patches rolled out? What is the process for patching a toothbrush? raises all sorts of questions. So I think my approach to this is, well, smart devices have their place, but their place is probably more limited than adverts would have me believe, and I think very seriously about whether I actually need a device to be accessible on the internet or not. Do I need to be able to remotely open my curtains? Those sorts of things might be useful, might not. So yeah, have a think about whether you really need it, because there isn't a particularly good solution to this problem, in my opinion. Well, that's all from me for today. Hope you have a great Wednesday, and middle of the week's all downhill from here. I will speak